In this lab experiment, we're going to learn how to make common laboratory measurements that are accurate and precise using common laboratory equipment. To do this, you'll be shown how to correctly use common laboratory equipment, and then you'll be asked to demonstrate your knowledge you just gained. The focus this week is on working safely in the lab, including knowing and following common laboratory safety practices, learning how to properly keep a laboratory notebook, and how to use common laboratory glassware. A couple of housekeeping notes for this lab experiment. While we will only be working with mostly non-hazardous materials to help you build lab safety practices, you are required to wear lab-appropriate attire, goggles, and follow the prescribed safety precautions described within the assignments. Because you're only working with non-hazardous materials and water, any waste at the end of the lab experiment can be poured down the drain following all local hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste disposal processes. It is also important that you clean the glassware that you will be using in the lab, both before using it and when you're done with the lab. Starting with clean glassware will help reduce contamination in your work by ensuring that you start off without other substances on your containers. Never assume that the glassware you see in a drawer, on a counter, or on a shelf was put there by someone else clean. When you finish, make sure you return all of your glassware to the appropriate drawer or storage location, clean and dry. Another important part about working in a chemistry lab is keeping good records about what procedure you performed and what data and observations you made during an experiment. The laboratory notebook not only serves as a place to keep all of this information, but also as a legal record of what experiment was performed on which date, in case there's ever a case where two researchers claim to be the first at a discovery or a patent. Your lab notebook should include the following on every page: a header with your name and your lab partner's name, the course and section number you are enrolled in, the date you performed the experiment, and the experiment title and number. At the end of the lab, you should sign the notebook indicating that you did indeed do the work and all the information is recorded accurately. Then have your supervisor or TA sign as a witness to the work performed on a specific day. You can divide your lab notebook page in half with a numbered list of the procedural steps on the left side and a record of the data and observations that you made on the right side. Don't worry, you should not try and squeeze everything onto a page. It's very common that a single experiment will take up multiple pages in your lab notebook. So let's look at a laboratory notebook page in general. The lab notebooks we require have space already at the top to prompt you to put in your header information. You can go ahead and fill it out with your name and your lab partner's name. I'm just going to call my lab partner. The course and section number that you're enrolled in. So this is our course and section number. The date that you performed the experiment, we can go ahead and write it in here. Add the experiment number and its title. Remember, you're going to give it a title in your own words. And you can do all of this before you come to lab. Now you should notice on the page, this page is set up with a grid that makes it easy for you to have lines to write on. It also has set up already a column, a dividing line down the middle to form two columns. What I suggest you do is on the left side, title that column Procedure, and on the right side, title the other one Data and Observations. I write pretty big, and that's okay. It's okay if your procedure doesn't fit all on one page, as you want enough details so that you or someone else can replicate what you did in the lab. When you're writing your procedure out, you want enough detail that somebody else can follow it and come back and replicate it. So you'll probably want to start off with a series of numbered steps. These steps may look like something like obtain metal sample or obtain sample, obtain mass. And I messed that up. So if you make a mistake, that's okay. You just draw a single line through it and then rewrite it below. On your data and observation side, You'll want to have your data and observations written across from the step that you performed in your procedure. So you want to make sure you leave space to write in your number, and don't forget to label it. So you want to include your units and what you tare weight, what you were measuring. So we get to say the tare weight, mass of the weigh boat, and you only leave space for the mass of the weigh boat. Do that again, weigh boat plus sample. Reflect on your answers to these questions and provide them as part of your reflection at the end of this module. Remember, if you have any questions, please ask them on the Course Piazza site, reach out to your TA or myself via email or office hours to ask.